I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for the Top Gun Sales Bootcamp training. Always come early, always stay late, because that's where the real cool stuff happens, is early and late. And so sales is about listening. You miss one thing, one tone, one word, one piece, one thing. And you lose the sale. Is that a big deal?
Yes.
Once you're established, you're going to lose sales. You just are. But when you're new, like Andrew, one sale can make the difference between him succeeding and not. I think we saw that with Becky. If we'd have got that one sale, I don't think she'd have gone. One sale. So when you're first starting, so the thing, one of the most amazing things in life is being in the delivery room when your kids are born. It's crazy. I mean, it is absolutely insane. I've never experienced anything like it in my life. And I'm not, real good with blood and other stuff and pain and, just not good. I didn't pass out, on any of the 7 kids. I was there for all of them. But life and how they have in the English world, they have a little monitor on the mom's belly when she's pregnant and it's measuring the heartbeat of the baby. As soon as that baby is born, that monitor moves from the belly to the baby. This is what we call the point of entry principle. So point of entry, when you look at the different sales, the different areas, marketing, pre-sale, sales, servicing, when you have a pipe, most of the time the leaks are going to be in the seams. The same thing is true in business. The leaks are in the seams, from marketing to pre-sales, from sales to pre-sales to the sale, from sale to servicing to client for life. It's in the seams. And so one one thing not followed up on can cost Andrew his career in sales and business. He has a goal of owning his own company. One phone call not made, one piece of information not shared with me, one not listening, one not following through. And they're all going to have reasons. They just will. So I'd recommend don't have reasons. The marketplace, the jungle, they don't care. They don't care about your reasons. They don't care at all. And the faster you learn that, the better off you are. It's just the marketplace. It's what you choose. You're not a victim. You're not anything special. So one of the things that I don't know how to convey to you all, down deep inside of you, I believe at the very DNA, at conception, when you're given life, you're created in God's image. I believe everyone's created in God's image. That's what it says. You're created in the image of God. And so you have the opportunity to be special, but you have to choose it. You're not just special just by showing up, And so, like, words cannot explain. So the first guy, Michael, first salesperson that dropped out, I brought in, went into tears. The president said, Mark, I don't know if I ever said it on here. Can't believe I didn't say it. I probably have, hopefully have. Don't ever lie to me. Don't ever lie to me. And if you deceive me, that is at your own risk. You're making a choice. If you're not absolutely honest and direct with me, you know, so like you you got to care for Andrew. Like he's a baby. He's baby in sales. Like one piece, one mistake on his part, one mistake on your part, and he's gone. Kenny, look at him become a police officer. One mistake, one judgment. Got his gun drawn. One mistake, one misjudgment. He kills somebody that didn't deserve to die. Mom, a child, somebody else that's innocent. I mean, and he's got seconds. It's seconds to react, respond. I mean, it's insane. I mean, it is absolutely insane. Like, if anybody had empathy, like anybody has empathy, it's like, are you kidding? The reflexes and the attentiveness and all of that kind of stuff. If he can bring that into, if he can bring that into sales, he will be infinitely better in sales. You just don't make mistakes. You just don't. So one of the things that I remember doing well is I observed that often husbands don't communicate to their wives well, and their wives want to know how their day went. Often wives don't respond to that well, and it makes the husband's day harder. So he learns, like, I don't want to give her a burden. She got a bunch of stuff, and so should I share? Shouldn't I share? What should I share? When should I share? How should I share? Women have no idea as to the complexity of. I mean, Claude does, but anybody else doesn't have any idea as to how complex it is. Just don't. I mean, a good husband at least. So he's always like, I don't want to burden my wife. I don't want to burden my kids. So, when we were having financial stuff, I mean, building a company, sales, 100% sales is, man, is that brutal. But owning a business is infinite. $35,000. Work over 100 hours a week and you lose $35,000 in 1 month. Next month's not so bad. You only lose $25,000 in a month. And you got, 6, 7 kids. Navigating that. No, it's so one of the things I did right is I communicated some level of pressure to my children and my wife. So they knew, like Tim won my heart. He's like 3 years old or something. He comes up to me, he says, Dad, here's some money. I'm like, it's $2. And he's like, I'm like, what's that for? He says, I know we're having struggles financially, Dad. And so I wanted to help. Like, you don't know as a dad, you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, I took it, gave him a hug. Thanks, buddy. I mean, what a sweet, sweet kid. Holy cow. Then you feel like really, like you can't even, your 3-year-old's help $2. But, he earned it. It was his money and like jeepers. But one thing I think one thing, like, raised Baptist, Dutch parents, not showman, no drama. My mom was probably the least dramatic woman I've ever known in my life. Just nothing. She's just a machine. Just a machine. Reminds me a lot of Elaine, actually. Just a machine. And so, you do amazing things. You're not a showboat. You don't lift yourself up. You don't need pins. You don't need a prize. You don't even need praise. You don't need thank you. You just do what you're supposed to do. That's what you do. You just do it. So yesterday was a 20-hour day. Not a big deal, actually. Nah, it's a machine. Absolute machine. Rosanna told me, so I don't know, I was running on 4 hours sleep or whatever, 20 hours after 4 hours sleep. And Rosanna last night, get into bed. It's like, you got to be tired. I'm like, I'm not. I'm tired. I'm on fire. I could go another, I could go another 4, 6, 8 hours, 10 hours. Like I am on fire. So I think a lot of times people lift themselves up to make themselves look good. What I think I made a mistake in is I don't think people have any idea, as other than Claude, understands the mental toughness and what I've been through, and it's not that big a deal. This is what it is. It's just what it is. I mean, Tom, he recognizes it. Ken Bucci recognizes it. So there are guys that do recognize, and it's not like the reason I'm sharing. Anytime I share something that makes me look good, it's not to make me look good. Trust me. When you've been married 41 years, you have 7 kids, 10 grandkids, two on the way. I don't need anybody's praise. I don't need anybody's accolades. I don't need anybody to feel sorry for me. I don't need anything. Just don't. The reason I'm sharing it is to try to go ahead and help other people understand, you might not work that hard. You might not be that smart. You might want to listen. There might be a few things like Alvin Miller. Like, how do I clone him? Right? He's 15 years old and he's like, one day, Mark, one day I'm 15. He's like, one day I just said, why am I fighting against my dad? Like, why am I fighting against my dad? He says, there's this natural testosterone that I guess, I didn't feel that with my dad. There was no competition. It just wasn't. He did what he did. I did what I did. It wasn't. Never felt competition with my dad. Never felt in awe of my dad. Just my dad was there. Good dad. Appreciate him. Good man. I mean, but Alvin, I said, what? He's like, yeah, mouthy to my dad and, and didn't respect him and didn't think he's that big a deal. But yeah, 15, everything changed. I'm like, why am I fighting against my dad? I said, really? And he's like, yeah. One day I woke up and just realized, yeah, that's stupid. I'm like, how'd you realize that? He's like, well, I just listened to all the people that respected my dad and said, if these other people think my dad's so smart, maybe I ought to listen to him. You think? But he's 15. And then he's like, yeah, when I was 6 years old, but will you guys remember that? Like, if you guys cared about somebody else, there'd be somebody right now in your mind that would enter into your mind, and you'd be like, I think I need to go ahead and give this podcast to somebody. Because you care about somebody other than yourself. And this is going to be, this will be, but will it impact? Like, this is golden. You can't get this in a book. You can't get this in a college course. You can't get this anywhere. You can't get this. The only way you're going to get this is in Top Gun Sales Boot Camp training. That's the only way. And you won't get it. You won't understand it. You won't internalize it. Like Tom Kuhn's grandfather said when he's 15, Tom, 16, Tom, you don't understand what I'm going to say now. I wish Elaine was here. Oh, my goodness. Because she writes down and takes note. So you're not going to understand the benefit, the significance of what I'm going to say. Now, all I do is ask that you write it down because someday in the future, you will. Most people listen and say, oh, that's a nice story. You have no idea. You just, that's brilliant. Like, his grandfather is knowing a 15-year-old boy, and he's like, a 15-year-old boy is not paying attention. Alvin was paying attention. Tom was paying attention. I don't know how well you guys pay attention. Honestly, don't know that you do. So Alvin is like, I think he's, I don't know, 8 years old. And we're talking, he's 80, like 84 years old, talking about when he's 8. And he's like, yeah, Mark. He says it casually. He's like, you guys get a chance to hang out with him, I'm telling you, do it as much as you can. He's a Menson. He could have been a Menson. You probably don't know what a Menson is. Menson is the smartest people in the world. They're absolutely, I've never met a Menson. I've heard of them. So he said once casually after 3 years of meeting him, it's like, yeah, um, I was invited to be a Menson. I'm like, what? I mean, I knew he was smart, but that's crazy off the charts. Some other story. Bring that up again sometime later. But the 8-year-old story, he's like, yeah, Mark, I was headed down a really, really bad path. He didn't tell me how old he was. He's like, yeah, when I was younger, I was heading down a really bad path. And he says, a girl, she changed my life. I'm like, wow. I'm thinking Rumspringa, he's, Amish, grew up Amish. So Rumspringa, he's drinking, doing drugs, having sex. Like he's. I'm like, how old were you? He's like, 8. 8? What kind of trouble can you get into at 8? How can you be heading down a bad path at 8? And he's like, well, he played pranks on people. And he said a 15-year-old girl came up to him and he said, you got to get the story from him. It's a lot better told from him than me. And so this is over, 70 years later, he's relating this story to me. He says, yeah, a 15-year-old girl came up to me and she said, Alvin, you're on a bad path. He said, she changed everything. He had just run into that girl 75 years later. He says, yeah, I just talked to her a few weeks ago. So what I can't come up with, how many times are we that 15-year-old girl? We see something in somebody else. And Alvin's a very successful business guy. And he might not be if it wasn't for that 15-year-old girl saying to that 8-year-old boy, you're on a bad path. Just straight up pulled the Band-Aid off and said, hey, you're on a bad path. And it changed everything. How many times do we see that about people and we think we're kind, we're not, because we're not taking risk. We're not saying, hey, take it or leave it, whatever. But here's what I see. I mean, hanging around Tom Coons, hanging around Peter Miles, hanging around Alvin, hanging around Mel, like the experience, hanging around Ernie. Jeepers, these guys are freaking smart. And their experience is off the charts. So when I turned 40, I thought, dang, I wish I knew at 20 when I'm 40. Like, that would have been so cool. Like, iterations to success. Like, if I could have just gone ahead, if somebody had just been there for me, if somebody would have and said, Mark, pay attention here, but there wasn't anybody, which was okay, I guess. I mean, I prayed 3 years for her. God said, nope, I'm going to be your mentor. I don't want you, God. So then I said, well, I bet you when I turn 60, I'm going to wish I knew at 40 what I know at 60. So I'm going to accelerate that. I'm going to try to learn in 3 years what most people take 20 years to learn. And that's how I got Tom in my life. Because I said, how are you going to do that? I'm going to get somebody who's 60 when I'm 40, and I'm going to go ahead and ask them, what do you wish you knew at 40 that you now know at 60? And that's why Tom's in my life, because of that one thought that hit me, said, Mark, man, imagine what your life would be like if you'd known at 20 what you know at 40. So, so Alvin, Mel, and Ernie are in their 80s. I'm 62. And so there's so much that I want to go over today with you guys, but we're going to get down to it, and so, this is after a 20-hour, 4 hours of sleep. Like I'm on fire. I mean, it is crazy. It is amazing. There's so many opportunities out there, but you gotta be attentive. And you got to be on fire. And you got to understand you were created to be something amazing, something significant. You were created to be that, but you have to be that. You have to choose. You can't go ahead and sit back and just let life go ahead and happen, and whatever is, and this is what it's going to be. You can't do that. And if you don't care about other people, if you don't care about Andrew, like, you know, you don't care about yourself, you don't care about your future. Like, you can make the difference between his success and his not, and alter his entire life by one thing, helping him understand one thing, helping him follow through on one thing, helping him go ahead and move him on one thing, helping him say, you know what, when I was in your situation, this is what I had. But you gotta care. All right. Nora, what you got?
I had 73% yesterday.
You go, girl. like this is this is one of the things. This is one of the things that I want to impart on you guys. Like, she's running at 20, 25%. That's not acceptable. It's just not. We're going to get her to 50%. And then after 50%, we're going to get her to 75%. After 75%, we're going to get her to 100%. Then she's going to have a bigger goal. I mean, why? I don't know. Because I'm created in the image of God, and he spoke it into existence. Like, boom, spoke it. It was true. Like, yep. Create the animals. Boom, spoke it. It was true. So if he can do that, I can get her to 50%. Like, this is personal. Now, she's got to do it. She's got to do her part, which she is more so. So she's focused, and I'm infusing my energy and passion into her, and she needs to do that into Andrew. And all of a sudden, like all of it's crazy. Now there's stamina. No, you don't get a vacation. Nope, don't get a vacation. Not yet. Not yet. When am I going to get a vacation? I don't know. Sometime. So how'd she do that? How does she do that today? How's she do it? How's she get it? Like, maybe Mark's not setting his goals on. Maybe 50% now. Maybe this isn't the next jump. Maybe she goes from 25% to 70%. How does she get it again today? Like, this stuff, it builds on energy. How do you get 4 hours, 4 hours of sleep, and then do 20 hours and you're on fire at the end of the day? Because your life is significant, because it's not taking energy. Like, none of you understand, and it's okay. How's a guy after 34 years, how's he more passionate about what he does today than he was 34 years ago? And he doesn't have to work, doesn't have to make money. How is he like this? How do you be like this? Oh, my watch is telling me there's a loud environment. Wonder where that's coming from. Anything else, Nora, you got? You go, girl. Proud of you. I'm excited for you. It's key is stamina. How do you put back to back? How do you put them back to back? Nice work. Anything else, Nora, you got?
You had said something about mentioning the like meeting your clients in person, and if that's ever like blown up.
Oh, yeah. So a toddler, why do they go ahead? Think about, have any of you ever thought about how a child learns so fast?
Yeah.
Okay, Nora has. I would, mom of a 3-year-old son. So yeah, she like, man, he changes every day. He's got a new word. He's got a new expression. He's got a new angle to get what he wants. And like that dude, he's a good salesman. he he knows how to smile. He knows how to giggle. He knows how to move his body. He knows how to do anything that he needs to do to get what he wants. And he's 3. So they're curious. They ask. They actually measure. I think you can internet Google it. I don't know. It's like 200 or 300 questions a day that a 3-year-old asks. How do you be like a 3-year-old? When it doesn't work, they don't get discouraged. You know, they're after it. And that's good. Like, it's good. And so, once we went to Tennessee, did a big event, big client. This was I don't know, I think like $180,000 a year client, and had an event and had the family come out. And it was casual, like I thought, it was casual. And we had a restaurant and stuff. And he had 3 young kids, and one of his boys was autistic. And that evening blew up. And it wasn't terrible, but we lost the client. $180,000 a year client. Wasn't just because of that. Like, if you're playing sports and you have a bad call and you lose the game, well, it's not just because, a bad call. You put yourself in that situation. It's like playing pickleball. You lose because of 1 point. It's not 1 point. One bad call. It's not that. You put yourself into that situation, learning to take ownership. So in persons for me are hard. So that leaves a scar. Like, I don't like to do in persons. On the other hand, Phil Siebert, I go out to lunch with him and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars. I go to Denver and I do hundreds of thousands of dollars in business. And so in business, in persons, how you look, how you sound. Like, I didn't have the situation. It's just I didn't anticipate, an autistic 9-year-old that's throwing a fit. I didn't anticipate that. I didn't get out in front of that. Didn't do it. His wife was there. Other kids were there. She was embarrassed. He was ticked at the waitress. Like, it was just, but it's all on me. Like, I should have better prepared. When I was 27 years old, and so I was just finishing up 4 years at Preferred Mortgage Associates and had a whole team. And we had it was me leaving right before, or the big holiday party where we had 3-month contest and stuff. I had gotten so much money. I mean, there was money, and we had games and auction and Monopoly money, and I mean, we were giving away TVs. There was thousands and thousands of dollars of prizes and other things, and that I'll never forget that Christmas party. The amount of work I put into it and everything. And there was alcohol at the party, and another reason, not a real big fan. And I just missed it. There was something in the contest, in the rules. In the rules, there was something I missed. There was a team, like there was a top level team. It was really cool. Why are you crying? I don't know, because so there was the top 3 players, salespeople, and they were bidding on something. And then there were the next 3 players that weren't as good as the, top salespeople, and they brought their money together, and there was no rule that said they couldn't, so they outbid, but the 3 didn't play together. The 3 that were lower did, and they won. Man, did that tick them off, the top 3 salespeople. Man, but they're like looking at me. I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't say in the rules you can't combine money. I don't know what to tell you. So the younger ones took out the older ones. The older ones had a little too much to drink and they were swearing and they were all upset with me. And what hurt the most, was done in front of my wife. And she's crying and she's like, "You did all this work for everybody, Mark. Like you put all this time in." And they're ungrateful and unthankful, not appreciative. So there's so many of these stories out there, and these stories have meaning. They do. Kenny, what you got?
Um, so I had yesterday just after every job we got like go out to the job and make sure everything's done, happy, the client's happy. And we had this with this client, we had some things come up. We had to get our team out to redo some stuff. And I could tell she was happy with the work, but I could tell there was just little tense
Do you know
pressure.
her personality? Did you go ahead
I
and do a test on her?
don't, no, I don't.
So you guys, I think I've shared this with you in the past, but maybe not, or maybe you need to go ahead and get their personality on the upfront. This is how you service people. If you get it on the upfront and say, I'm going to ask you some strange questions, but this is so we can service you well, and you ask them these questions help you to know how to service them. You get out in front of them. You can't do it afterwards. It's a little too late. But if you get out in front of them and you get this here and you develop some rapport and some trust and they laugh about it, they understand their own weaknesses. So, might have been an analytic.
I know
And
that one of the family was an analytic, yes.
yeah. And so if was it her husband?
Your son.
Okay. So you get the personalities and that helps you to have some things there. And so the key is you got to get to the situation before it happens.
Right.
You got to get their personality. So they're talking about it. So, and then you got to get all your vendors and all your subcontractors and all the people around you. Listen, this person's an analytic. Like, do you bump up the price of the analytic by 10%? I would. Maybe
Hmm.
15 or 20, because they're going to expect more. And if they're willing to pay for more, then you do it. You got to go ahead. And so, but if we're going to take the job, well, then we're going to do the job the way we're going to create a raving fan experience for that person. And the analytic is really hard to please. Cheapers.
Yeah. I mean, she was happy with the end results, but I just can't say that we had a raving fan experience.
Right.
They
So
did.
I'd go back to her now. I'd go back to her now and I'd go ahead and say, hey, I don't know if you give her a gift card or go out on a date with her husband, where you give her something. Say, I felt this is not how we want you to have it made. She might cry on you. Like all of a sudden she just starts crying. So is that because, her son? Is that because of her husband? Is there conflict? Who knows? There's a whole bunch of different things. But you want to go ahead and you want to face that situation and say, I'm sorry, this is not how we do business, and we're working on things, and do something.
Got it. Then the other thing is, so we were meeting with, we have the guys meet with a shop that we're doing some installs for. I haven't personally met them yet, but I wanted to go out there today, meet with them in person, and kind of, yeah, just get to know them. Um, but I don't like Luke's trying to take over kind of that area. So if I do it by myself, that won't be good for Luke. I won't help Luke out. But even if me and Luke would go, how do I
Right. How do you not take over?
Yes.
Yeah. So you be sensitive to that. Luke tries to be attentive to that, and you guys try to get in the flow, and you try to go ahead and have him do more of it. Or he observes you like a he watches you like a hawk, like he's observant, he's paying attention, your body language, your voice, your tone, how you move your arms and your body and your face and everything else. He's studying you like crazy and seeking to learn how to do what you do. And then he writes that down, and then he might do a podcast on it. This is what I've observed Kenny doing in his voice, his tone. There's so much unconscious competence that people who are successful have, and it's hard to transfer that. You need to be a great teacher. One is you're aware of it, so you're great. Okay, excellent. Two is you kind of have an out of body experience and see what you're doing. Three is you get a great student. Great teachers with great students. It's unbelievable what they can do together. Anything else you got?
No.
Luke, what you got?
So yesterday, talked to someone that we're looking at doing a roof for him, and I asked like, "Hey, are you getting any other bids?" And he said he'll probably will. Then I
Okay,
asked
so
like,
when you say, "Hey, you getting any other bids?" Is that how you've been trained to ask that?
"No,
Did you do it the way you were trained?
I think so."
Okay, let's go over it again. Hey, did you get any other bids? Is that what you said to him?
No, I said it more like, "Are you getting any other bids for the project or some?" I
So
don't.
we probably ought to do scripting and all of that kind of stuff, getting it down to the core. So I'm not confident that you actually did it the way you were trained. And if you don't do it the way you're trained, well, you're probably not going to get the results.
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring that up on tomorrow's podcast and drill into more details on that. Andrew, did Kenny or Luke talk to you about being prepared for today? How to do that? Oh, Kenny or Luke, did you guys talk to Andrew about being prepared for today?
No.
So again, um, it's attentiveness to detail. It's listening. It's anticipating. Like, when is Mark going to go ahead and speak to me? He's coming around the room. So it's anticipation. It's ready. In sales, you got to be fast. You got to anticipate what the needs are, what people are going to say before they say it. Your reflexes get to be so quick, it's insane. I mean, it's insane how fast you become. And so if there's direction given, you should never, ever, ever be asked twice to do something ever. And ideally, you really need to get in sales. You want to make a lot of money. You want to be really successful in sales. You learn how to be so good you don't even ask once. You know what people want before they want it. You know what they're thinking before they think it. You're so out in front of people. You're 6 steps in front of everybody else. That's what Top Gun is teaching you. But you got to go ahead. You got to do it. So hopefully this has been beneficial for all of you. What happened is last Friday was miserable, and I love miserable times because, man, did they go ahead and motivate. And all of a sudden we have all this momentum, all this other stuff, but you got to do something. You got to recognize it's miserable. Then you got to take ownership of it, and then you got to change it. So always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.